Portland City Hall. So, Adrian, I know you got an update from Portland Police Chief Bob Day just a short time ago. What can you tell us?
Well, Nora, he told reporters this afternoon that some of the details that were released by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security regarding these two suspects who were shot by Border Patrol agents were in fact true. This came, however, after dueling narratives on Thursday night between local officials and federal officials. Bob Day revealing today that these two individuals who were shot by federal law enforcement were already on PPB's radar. A statement from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security says this shooting on Thursday came after a traffic enforcement stop targeting an alleged Venezuelan gang member. A statement posted to the agency's social media accounts said Border Patrol agents were looking for Yorlenis Zambrano Contreras and also located the driver of the car, Luis Moncada, when they approached. According to DHS, both are suspected associates of the Tren de Aragua gang from Venezuela. Friday morning, Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin defended the agents who shot Zambrano Contreras and Moncada.
Our law enforcement officers pulled them over as they were approaching the vehicle. When the subjects realized who our law enforcement were, they pulled forward, attempting to hit our law enforcement, and that's when our agent, he again followed his training and fired defensive shots at that vehicle, and the subjects drove 5 miles, and they proceeded to call 911.
But at a Friday press conference, Chief Bob Day confirmed that PPB is aware now the two individuals shot by Border Patrol do, in fact, have an affiliation with the gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA. He says PPB became aware of this after a shooting back in July involving a Venezuelan victim. Day said the investigation had a, quote, nexus to the two people who were shot Thursday by Border Patrol, but wouldn't provide additional details since the case regarding the July shooting is ongoing. However, Day stressed this information doesn't take away from the chaos and confusion that happened.
I hesitated to even share this information initially because I'm very aware of the historic injustice of victim blaming, oftentimes portrayed by law enforcement. If this is information we have, this in no way draws a through line to the actions or the behaviors that occurred yesterday.
Day also took a moment to speak directly to Portland's Latino community, getting emotional when speaking about the concern Thursday's federal action may have caused.
I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger.
Now, Chief Day also added that while the FBI is taking the lead on this investigation involving a Border Patrol agent shooting those two individuals, he said that PPB is being kept in the loop of all the details and is willing to assist if needed. Live in downtown Portland, Adrian Thomas, Fox 12 Oregon.
Great. Adrian.